Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you, to all classmates and schoolmates. Here is my presentation. It is all about the Vietnam. So, as you have observed, the background, which is color red and yellow, and it represents the flag of the Vietnam. And also my attire, which is color red, and it matches the color of the flag of the Vietnam, which is red. So, before we start, etymology of the Vietnam, I have introduced to you the flag of the Vietnam. So what is the meaning of the flag of the Vietnam? So the red background, which is represents the bloodshed, revolution, and the struggle. And the yellow one, which is the star, represents the five main classes of Vietnamese society, which is workers, builders, peasants, intellectual, and businessmen. And the flag was used by the Viet Minh, a communist-led organization was created in 1941 to oppose Japanese occupation. Etymology. So Viet is an ethnic term of unknown linguistic origin that dates from well before the Common Era. It is, in its Chinese form, it could mean either beyond, the peoples beyond the boundary or outsider, or perhaps referring to a farm implement common to the region. Nam is a Chinese word meaning south. Combining with Viet, the total word Vietnam refers to the wet rice cultivators living in the south of Vietnam, a name that can be traced back to the True Dynasty of the 2nd century BC. The form Vietnam is first recorded in the 16th century oracular poem Sam Trang Trinh. The early Chinese histories refer to a kingdom called Nam Viet, the southernmost of Viets. There was also Eastern Viets and several other Viets. So, the Viet meaning it is the outside or outside boundary, and the Nam meaning south part of the land. And so there are many south part countries, which is the Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and also include the Vietnam and other countries. So after the Chinese conquest of the Viets in 111 BCE, various Chinese provincial names were used, the best known of which was Annam, meaning pacified south. The term Viet was never used when the land was under Chinese administration, but was often chosen during periods of independence. The 11th century Dai Viet, or Great Viet, preceded by the 10th century Dai Co Viet, is the most important example. The term Tonkin dates from 1428, after the creation of the Le dynasty. Tonkin simply means eastern capital and named not a region but a city, or roughly represent Dai Hanoi. The term Vietnam dates from the early 19th century when the Nguyen dynasty was founded. The Vietnamese government of this time was on very close terms with China, and the name was probably a compound derived from Dai Viet and Annam. Like the Chinese before them, modern colonial powers also avoided the term Viet. Cochin China was used by the Portuguese to refer to the southern third of modern Vietnam, probably in order to distinguish it from the Cochin in India. The French kept this term for the south, adding Annam for the middle region and Tonkin for the northern third. Thus, the term Viet today retains strong nationalistic anti-foreign implications for its own people. Culture. The Vietnamese culture is one of the oldest Southeast Asia and is heavily influenced by the Chinese culture. After Vietnam attained independence from China in the 10th century, the country began to expand southwards, which led to the incorporation of elements of the Champa and Khmer cultures into the Vietnamese culture. Later, French colonial rule in Vietnam introduced the Western culture to the country and led to the spread of Catholicism and the adoption of the Latin alphabet. Once the communist regime started in Vietnam, several restrictions were placed over cultural exchanges with the Western civilization, and instead exposure to the cultures of other communist nations like Cuba, Soviet Union, and the others was encouraged. Despite the changes over the years, some elements of the Vietnamese culture, like the veneration of the ancestors, respect for family values, devotion to study, and other remained intact. So there are top 5 cultural traditions in Vietnam. So I have choose only 5 or the most common there in the Vietnam country. So first is the superstition. Because of the skepticism surrounding science in parts of the country, Vietnamese philosophies for life generally rely on emotions or the words of their forefathers. For example, in their 12-year lunar calendar, many of the years are considered incompatible, meaning a traditional Vietnamese man could not marry a woman born in the wrong year because it would break the family ties with his parents and relatives. Duck photos eggs are also meant to bring good luck, but eating them in odd numbers will reverse the process and send the bad luck tumbling back. Second one, martial arts. The Vietnamese martial arts tradition was born of the constant need for defense against foreign invaders. Ironically, it was also heavily influenced by China during its ongoing occupation, but over time, the Vietnamese have developed their own distinct styles. Vo Vietnam was founded in Hanoi, and practitioners can be recognized by the blue uniforms they wear. It is most famous for its scissor kick, classically used to dismount attackers on horseback. Vu Binh Dinh practitioners wear distinct black uniforms and owed their reputation to the legendary warrior king Quang Trung. Traditional wrestling is also considered an ancient martial arts tradition and is practiced during Tet. Third one, religion. Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism are known in Vietnam as the triple religion, and all three are prevalent in Vietnamese culture. However, Vietnam owes much of its belief system to folktales and in the traditional sense is one of the least religious countries in the world. Its people turn to the worship of gods, goddesses, and ancestors for guidance and are the only known collection of people to have a god of the kitchen. It is also believed that failing to conduct proper rituals upon death will create hungry ghosts, so the spirit world is commonly considered to be of great importance. Fourth one, festivals. Tet, meaning festival of the first day, is the Lunar New Year and the biggest festival in Vietnam. It is a celebration of renewal and hope and the majority of Vietnam closes for a week to honor it. Hoi An holds a full moon festival once a month on the eve of each full moon, during which lanterns are lit all over the city. Most Vietnamese festivals involve offerings to the spirit world, celebrations of life, or commemorations of the dead, and so weddings and funerals in Vietnam are both joyous occasions. You might not quite be sure which of one you're watching. And the last one is the clothing. A tight-fitting silk tunic called áo dai is the Vietnamese national dress for women. It was briefly banned following the fall of Saigon, but is now made in white for schoolgirls and is designed to accentuate womanly curves whilst covering the whole body. Dresses are commonly made of silk or cotton, and sandals are made of old tire rubber. The national dress for men is similar, but it is loose-fitting and shorter in length. Literature masterpieces and authors. So I have choose the most and famous literature masterpieces by the authors in the Vietnam. So here, The Spring Essence, the poetry of Hu Xuan Huong, The Tale of Q, Lament of the Soldier's Wife, The Sorrow of War, a novel of North Vietnam, The Stars, the Earth, the River, Behind the Red Mist, Against the Flood, Past Continuous, The Cemetery of Chua Village, An Insignificant Family, Green Rice, Poems by Lam Tai Maida, Crossing the River, Dumb Luck, Black Dog, Black Knight, Distant Road, Selected Poems of Nguyen Dui. So the country's best tourism or significant events of the people. Tourism in Vietnam is a component of the modern Vietnamese economy. In 2019, Vietnam received 18 million international arrivals, up from 2.1 million in the year 2000. The Vietnam National Administration of Tourism is following a long-term plan to diversify the tourism industry, which brings foreign exchange into the country. Tourist arrivals in Vietnam have continued to rise in recent years. In 2008, Vietnam received 4.218 million international tourists. In 2009, the number was 3.8 million, down 11%. In 2012, Vietnam received 6.84 million tourists. This was a 13% increase from 2011 figure of 6 million international visitors, which was itself a rise of 2 million visitors relative to 2010 arrivals. In 2016, Vietnam welcomed to 10 million international visitors, which represented a 26% increase from the previous year. Tourism is important in Vietnam for backpackers, culture and natural lovers, beach lovers, military soldiers, and veterans. Vietnam has become a new tourist destination in Southeast Asia. Local and international tour operators offer tours to ethnic minority groups, walking and bicycle tours, photography tours, kayak trips, and multi-country trips, in particular with neighboring Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand. Foreign tourists have been able to travel freely in the country since 1997. The economy of Vietnam has transformed from an agrarian to a service economy. More than a third of gross domestic product is generated by services, which include the hotel and catering industry and transportation. The manufacturing and construction 28%, agriculture and fisheries 20%, and mining 10% have much smaller shares. Tourism contributes 4.5% to our gross domestic product as of 2007. After heavy industry and urban development, most foreign investment in Vietnam has been concentration in tourism, especially in hotel projects. According to usual report of World Tourism and Travel Council, tourism contributed 6.6% to GDP, equal to VND 279,287 billion as of March 2016. Which has important contribution promoting development of related sectors such as transportation, entertainment, cuisine, and etc. So here are the most or the famous tourist destination in Vietnam, which is the Hoi An, and a trading port dating from the 15th to the 19th century here. A cable car station located in Sapa, Phanxipan, the highest mountain in the Indo-Chinese peninsula. And this, the gate leading to the Marble Mountains, a popular tourist destination. This, the Bai Dinh Temple, a popular site for Buddhist pilgrimages from across Vietnam. Here is the Golden Bridge at Bana Hills. This one is the Hong San. Duong is the largest known cave passage in the world. By volume, it is so large it contains its own subterranean forest and ecosystem. Next one is the Ban Giok Falls, giant waterfalls located in northern Vietnam. And here is the Ha Long Bay. Here is the Imperial City, Hue, the former imperial capital of Vietnam. Here is the Hotel Metropole Hanoi. The next one is an American tourist crawling through the Cu Chi tunnels, constructed by the Viet Cong guerrilla forces during the Vietnam War, now a popular tourist destination. This is the Tin Duong Cave in Pong Na Kibang National Park, Quang Binh Province. And the last one is the Mai San or Mi San, ancient Champa Hindu temples in central Vietnam. And that's all. Thank you and God bless.